Boom! Alright, what's up you guys? It's Royce, Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be discussing short-term upside targets and downside macro targets for our three favorite metaverse cryptocurrencies: Render Token, Decentraland, and Sandbox. Alright, so we'll kick it off on the charts, you guys, talk some technicals, once again, talk June price targets and how low I see these things going over the longer term prior to the next bull market cycle picking up. We'll kick it off with our number one seed, RNDR, or Render, of course. Move on to Mana, and then we'll close it out with Sand. Okay, so on top of that, other tabs I have open, we have CoinMarketCap right here, just to feed into the fundamental argument that I kind of want to break down after we cover the technicals. Maybe I'll tie them in to the technicals as well as we look through the charts, if I'm feeling a little bit passionate about some of the current market capitalizations of some projects that I think will be much larger in the future. So I will likely tie in some of these fundamental arguments. We have CoinMarketCap right here, of course, to reference market caps of these cryptocurrencies. And again, this does supplement the macro argument of why I think specifically Render Token for this video will be much larger over the course of time. And to also supplement the macro arguments, this is about a week old at this point in terms of this news coming out and this announcement being made, but I haven't covered it yet, and this is very applicable to some of these smaller cryptocurrencies, to some of these more niche cryptocurrencies, particularly the ones that fall under the Web3 category, which of course the Web3 metaverse, very fine line. A16Z, crypto's record new $4.5 billion fund doubles down on Web3 amid market crash. Okay, so Andreessen Horowitz, if you are in venture, if you are in angel investing, you would know who this is. This is one of the most prominent, influential, as it says here, capital firms in the entire world. And the fact that they're deploying this much capital in this bloody market environment really speaks to the conviction that they have. This could, we'll see how this plays out, but as a crypto bull myself, I am, of course, I do fall in line with their bullish sentiment, and like them, I have been loading up on some of my favorite plays, particularly Render Token, over the course of this pullback. And as long as Render, just personally, is in double digits, as long as we're below $1, I'm accumulating, you guys. Okay, so that's that, you guys. Let's talk some technicals. Before we do, please give the video a like. It's greatly appreciated if you do. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Again, if you're here, if you're still learning, if you're still educating yourself, if you're still participating in the markets during the downtimes, then you deserve to be a very wealthy individual someday. Okay, so let's talk Render short-term. We'll kick it off with the short-term upside targets. Kick it off with the good news. Good news first kind of guy. So we'll do good news first, upside first, and then I'll let you guys know how low I think these things can go. And that's not even very bad news either, because honestly, I don't see them going much lower. And if they do, honestly, I don't really care. I do care in the sense that I'll be buying more, but it doesn't affect my happiness or my livelihood in any means if it does go lower. Okay, so Render Token, where do I see this thing bouncing? In the very short term. I will also give you guys a little bonus BTC analysis at the very end that I just sent out in my Discord, but that's at the very end. Okay, so Render Token, when it comes to the short term, I do think that at the very least, we will come to test this orange line right here. Just looking at this chart, this is the first thing that obviously pops out. Render is in a downtrend, okay? Since its massive sell-off, since those massive sell-offs that we saw in early May, Render has been trading sideways, but there is a significant line of resistance right here on this little relief rally / short-term bounce. It's barely even upside. This is more range trading, okay? So at the very least, from where we are now, I do think Render's first stop will be the line of resistance here. If we test this on June 6th, which would be Monday, that would take us up to about 84 cents. Okay, in the case that we break this, that is bullish for Render. In the case that we can break 85 cents by Monday, I do think that we will be on our way to the top end of this range, around 95 cents to $1. Okay, around this yellow line right here. All right, so in the case that that's broken, which I do think will happen, I do think there is another wave in store for crypto, for growth stocks, as we move through the middle of June, early to mid-June at least over the course of this coming week, I should say. Not going to put longer. Long is always up in the air. And I want to make it very clear. I'll keep reiterating this as long as I feel necessary. I do not think the macro bull market is back. I don't think Bitcoin has seen its bottom just yet. But Do I think that some relief is due, some extended relief, and we could see some optimistic price action and green price action over the course of the coming week or so? I do, and that is why I'm giving you guys my mid-June price targets. Okay, so in the case that these levels are broken right here, in the case that render can break back above $1, I think it's going to be a pretty quick jump up to this price target that I've had for quite a while. Okay, and that is 120. 120. Why is 120 my target? 120 is the previous bottom over here that has not yet been tested as a new high. Okay, so previous floor, new ceiling. We have not yet seen that retested since the big sell-off as a new ceiling. This also comes right in line with a previous line of support right here. Once again, validated as new resistance right here. Support, boom, broke below it. Resistance, we are significantly below that. If these two intersect, if this happens in a very satisfying manner, which I'd love to see, that would take us to about $1.20 on June 20th, which of course is a very beautiful price appreciation from here, and that would represent about 65% of upside from current levels at the time of recording, which, as you can see, is 72 cents. Okay, so that is render. Before we cover Mana and Sand, which of course all the metaverse cryptocurrencies are going to be printing somewhat similar patterns. So before we do that, let's read over this quickly and take a look at render as well. So A16Z. Amid a market collapse, we're not going to read much here, you guys, it's just these two paragraphs, but amid a market price collapse, one of crypto's most influential venture capital firms is loading up. Andreessen Horowitz's crypto unit, known as A16Z Crypto, announced on Wednesday that it has raised $4.5 billion for its fourth fund. The firm plans to allocate $1.5 billion of the funds to make seed investments in Web3 and $3 billion to make more traditional startup investments, okay? So, the beauty of Render Token is it's both a startup and a Web3 platform. If you guys haven't watched any of my Render Token videos, go watch those. I get into the specifics of what Render Token does, disrupting AWS, kind of the Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, the cloud network of the future. That's what they're striving to do, okay? Especially within rendering the metaverse, which is where their name Render Token comes from, okay? If you guys haven't, again, Render Token, so much potential here. AWS, Microsoft Cloud, like trillion plus dollar market, arguably. Definitely will be a multi-trillion dollar market cap over the next 5-10 years. That is inarguable. And obviously, if you believe in crypto, if you believe in in technology, in the exponential nature of technology, which crypto is, I mean, tech at in its rawest form, pretty much, in its most bleeding edge form, I should say. If you believe in crypto, then you have to believe that there will be a decentralized cloud computing platform, and Render Token at this point in time is at the top of that, is front of the pack, is leading the pack in that realm, okay? Heard of this initially from Chamath Palihapitiya, the godfather of the SPAC, All In podcast, a billionaire investor, amazing investor, Mount Rushmore of kind of new age investors for sure, as well as, I can't remember the name of the freaking fund, but pretty much the fund that puts Solana on the map, notorious for early investments in Solana, and they both highly tout Render and their founder, Jules Yerbach, okay? Go listen to that podcast. I recommended a few episodes ago, or the last time or two prior Render videos. But anyway, go watch, I think it's called The Edge of NFT podcast with Jules Yerbach, their founder. I've re-listened to that twice already, and it just makes me more and more bullish on Render every time I listen to it. So go give that a listen if you haven't already. And again, considering Render is number 148 with a market cap of $185 million, I do think that this can get to, I think that this can get to $1.8 billion easy. Like $1.8 billion, when you're talking about the fact that this market could be a $1 trillion market someday, $1.8 billion is a very, very easy first step in my eyes. We've been there in the past, I guess, like, because Render is down like 90% from its all-time high. So Render, from peak to trough, from its top to its bottom, let's go to the bottom right here, has seen pretty much a 90% correction. It's very rare for even cryptocurrencies to see 90% corrections, and a lot of times that's usually the sign of the bottom. Okay, so boom, Render, I knew I had it extended. So Render actually has seen from top to bottom, has seen over a 90% correction, a 92% correction. And again, you guys, given the long-term fundamental potential of Render, I mean, this is just an absolute steal at this point, and the fact that this thing is sitting at $180 million market cap is just a testament to honestly how much fear is in the markets right now. And again, I just recorded a video before this. I'll be posting it after this, talking about how fortunes are made during bear markets. And render, again, as long as render is below $1, I will be investing my US dollars, which have been doing pretty well lately, into render because I believe so much in this project for the long term. Okay, so that's that, you guys. And I do think that, I will just say right now, that a good portion of this capital in A16Z's new fund will be allocated into render because venture capitalists freaking love render. Again, Chamath is like the godfather of, it is in the circle. And that one other firm, David Sachs, investor in that same firm that invested in Solana. I mean, these guys are at pretty much the top of the totem pole when it comes to venture investing and deal flow. And if they're investing in render, if they're bullish on render, it only makes sense that these other Silicon Valley elites are bullish on render as well. Okay, so that's render. Let's close it out. Sorry, you guys, that was a little long, but I do feel it's important. So I'm going to share it regardless. Mana is just looking at this right now. Let's freestyle this right here. So Mana is in a very, very textbook descending or just symmetrical wedge pattern. You could say boom, wedge right there. Currently below it, but also finding like it just doesn't. I mean, Mana could go lower. I will say right now I'm significantly more bullish on render than both Mana and Sand. I do think that it's a safer play. I think there's significantly more upside potential. But hey, if the entirety of the crypto market rallies, it's very possible for Mana and Sand to rally as well. So for Mana, in the case that Mana can break above this line of resistance, which would be by the end of this weekend, by June 5th on Sunday, which would be about $1.05. So if Mana can conservatively see $1.10, I do think it's very likely that we begin the next wave up. And my price target for Mana is going to be similar to render, that same 65% move up. Again, the entirety subsectors within the cryptocurrency market, so crypto sector, then subsectors, this is the metaverse subsector, will likely see similar moves. I think render will see a larger move than both of these. I do think Mana will see a larger move than Sand. That'll make sense right as we dive into Sand. But Mana, I do think can come up here to test this area over here. $1.50. I mean, you can call it conservatively a $1.50, I guess, just to play it safe. But this has acted as just a historical ceiling and floor for Mana in the past. You can see boom, ceiling, little ceiling over here, bounce below this, really spend some time around this, around that same level over here on that bounce before the big sell-off. So I do think Mana can still kind of use this area over here. We'll call it a $1.50. So I do think Mana can probably come up to about a $1.50 over the course of this short-term rally. And yeah, that's Mana. As far as downside potential goes, Mana has also seen pretty much a 90% correction. Did not spend much time there. And I do think that this is the crypto winner, you guys. I think that this is where we start that sideways range trading. Do we come back down to 60, 70 cents? It's very, very possible. Do we go down to 20, 30 cents? I don't think that's very likely at all. I think that we will trade in this range from 60 cents, I mean 60 cents to like $1.40 for quite a while. But I do think, or you could say, I mean 50 cents to $1.50 is like a safe range that I think will be boom, just going perpendicular. Okay, so scuff that one. But you guys want to get what I'm saying. 50 cents to $1.50 is the crypto winner range trading that I'm looking for. Okay, so that's Mana. Close it out with Sand on the charts, and then we'll talk Bitcoin actually. So Sand is currently similar to render above a pretty significant line of resistance, which you do like to see. So long-term line of resistance, I mean, very, very visible line of resistance that pretty much every trader is looking at. Sand is currently above that, broke out of that on as we closed out the month of May, saw a nice spike up, boom, came back down, retested this previous line of resistance as new supports. Strong support here. I do think another wave to the upside is in line for Sand. And I do think that this is a pretty obvious, like, it's pretty obvious that Sand at the very least, I think, will come down to this area over here where we saw a little bounce before that big sell-off once again in early May. That would take Sand at least up to about a $1.65, but I do think it's very possible to come up here. And I do think Sand can see about a $1.85 once all is said and done in this range. And similar to Mana, I mean, all of these are going to be range trading. I do think Sand's range will be, I mean, it has not, you can see how significant of a floor is here at a $1.22, $1.23. So I think from a $1.20 to about 180 is going to be Sand's range. And yeah, again, you guys, crypto winners aren't as fun as the bull markets, but always remember the bull market will be back. And if you're able to withstand the winter, you get to enjoy the summer. You guys get the cheesy analogy, but you guys get it. Okay, so we'll call it there, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below which of these 3 names you are most bullish on. If you don't like these 3, what's your favorite crypto in the market? Look forward to your responses down in the comments. And of course, if you want to know what I'm buying, when I'm trading crypto stocks, how I'm trading Coinbase options, how I'm trading ride options, when I'm buying stocks, when I'm buying cryptos, how I'm hedging my portfolio with puts, first link in the description box below. You can reap the 7-day free trial for another day or so. So go check that out. And I'm confident you won't regret it. All right, so I'll catch you guys in the comments downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.